Welcome once again to the longest running Let's Play series that this is TNA 2016. And for the first time in 2017, this, my friends, will be a special video because I'm going to be changing things up just a little bit. Here in this video, because this is going to be a longer video than normal. And I just realized I have to cut 2 minutes from the show, so let me do that. And let me cut it from Rockstar Spud versus Jesse Goddard's. The reason why this is going to be a special episode is because the pay-per-view TNA One Night Only Legacy is happening this weekend. So with that being said, I figured it was fitting, or it'd be fitting, to make this a longer episode so I could talk up the matches and do the pay-per-view all in one video. So with that being the case, let's get to this episode of Impact Wrestling. And this week's episode of Impact Wrestling kicks off with Chris Melendez up against Shad Gaspard in the first pre-show match of the night. And Melendez gets what I believe to be one of, if not his first win of the year. At least his first win on Impact. Or at least his first win on a Thursday. The next pre-show match is Drew Galloway up against Jody Christopherson. And the reason why Drew is on the pre-show is simply put because he... with him coming up short last week against Abyss, I just needed to get him. Well, he's not going to be at the pay-per-view, so I used him again this week. And I had no real purpose for him on the main card, so this match was just basically used to get him a win, even if it is on the pre-show. So now here's where I'm going to expend a lot of energy. So, if you remember 2 weeks ago, EC3 faced Rey Mysterio in a number one contendership match for the TNA World Heavyweight title, and Bram cost EC3 the title shot. So it seems like everything is coming out. Everything is fine tonight as Rob Echoes puts down the challenge for Mr. Anderson and the Heritage title tonight. And Mick Foley comes out to make that match. I'm getting ahead of myself. He puts out the challenge for Anderson. That brings out Anderson. And then all three of them. Well, Anderson makes the comment about how it's so nice to see that the three of them are back on the same page. Long story short, Mick Foley makes his way out to the ring, makes the match official, and tells Rob Echoes that if he lays a hand on Anderson before their match tonight, that he will not be getting a match tonight. And that brings out Eric Young, who's supposed to be number one contender, and is wondering what this means for his title shot this Sunday. And all Mick Foley says is, well, Eric, you're either versing Anderson or you're versing Robbie E. Either way, you're getting the title shot. Have a nice day. So now we move to the first match of the night, and it's Jesse Goddard's up against Rockstar Spud, and unfortunately for Spud, he comes up short once again, this time against Jesse Goddard's, as Jesse wins with a stunner. The opening match of Impact Wrestling. Pulling a WWE, pulling something that WWE would do here. Kyle O'Reilly gets the loses to Jason Paul in what is a surprising ending, because Kyle is going into his match with Tigre Uno at the pay-per-view, and JB takes this moment to seize his opportunity to ask Kyle what this means, and if this affects his momentum going into the X Division title match this Sunday. And all Kyle says is, JB, this isn't the time or the place, so you best believe that if you don't get out of my face, then you're gonna be the one who I take my frustrations out on, and it won't be Tigre Uno. So unless you want to get your ass kicked, I suggest leaving. To play into a little bit of history, the Beaver Boys, Alex Reynolds and John Silver, are actually the trainers, or at least Alex Reynolds is one of the trainers, of Randy Summers and Brandon Watts. And yes, that is one of the reasons why I did the match. The other reason why I did the match is because both of these teams never really get wins, so I figured, why not let them get a win on the main show as we move to the pay-per-view. Speaking of tag teams that get wins, Bobby Roode and James Storm come out, talk up their history in TNA's tag team division, and how TNA's tag team division has changed over the last couple of years. This brings out the tag team champions, and Eddie talks about how they beat every tag team that has been put in front of them. Davey talks of how they beat the GHC tag team champions, D.H. Smith and Lance Archer. And Eddie says that you two may have been the best tag team in TNA in the past. We are not the best tag team in TNA. We are the best tag team in the world. And on Sunday, we prove it when we make you just another statistic. And now we move forward with Marty Bell going up against Awesome Kong. And Awesome Kong actually comes up short against Marty Bell. And I say, I sound surprised because I didn't pick the winner. I haven't picked the winner for any match thus far tonight. I didn't do it for Kyle O'Reilly and Jason Paul. I didn't do it for Jesse Goddard and Rockstar Spud. Heck, I didn't even do it for the pre-show matches. But I will say this, that the reason why it's okay that Kyle lost is because it plays into the pay-per-view match this Sunday. And if you want to know what I mean, just wait and see. And this may actually play into the future of Awesome Kong, because I was thinking about her future while I was in the middle. Yeah. I don't know what I'm saying either. Well, now we head backstage where Bram walks into Rob Echo's locker room and just looks at Rob and says, everything's not all good. Everything's not all good. You do what you need to do. I'll do what I need to do. But I'm staying out of your way. You want to win the title? You win it on your own. Good luck. Oh, EC3. I didn't realize you could turn people without them actually being on television. So now we move forward as Mike Bennett prepares for his championship match. His match against the Prodigy this Sunday on pay-per-view. And he defeats and is basically a tune-up match for his title match this Sunday. I don't know why I keep calling it a title match. His match this Sunday against the Prodigy. And Mike Bennett just says, JB, the time for talking is over. This Sunday, I'm sticking the Prodigy with his first loss in TNA. Now it's time for the TNA Heritage title match with Rob Echoes going up against Mr. Anderson, and Anderson gets the victory after interference from Eric Young as Eric Young runs in and attacks Anderson, allowing Anderson to retain the TNA Heritage title via disqualification, and Rob Echoes is pissed. He's pissed off enough that following the match, Rob and Eric Young argue, both not happy with the other because Eric Young had not been happy since the title match was made, because he feels like nobody else should get a title shot before him. Speaking of title matches, we have the contract signing between Taryn Terrell and Gail Kim for their last knockout standing match this Sunday for the TNA Knockouts title. And this Sunday will also see the end of the feud between Gail and Taryn. Both signed the contract, and the match is made for Sunday for the Knockouts title. And speaking of Sunday, Kurt Angle gets in his tune-up match for the pay-per-view against Rey Mysterio, against a very similar type wrestler in Manic, with Rey on commentary talking about his pay-per-view debut, or in-ring pay-per-view debut, that will happen this Sunday at TNA Legacy. We increased our popularity in 11 regions with a 70 final rating. Pretty good show for the go-home show of the next one-night-only event. And for once, you're actually going to be able to see what's going on in other companies around. Around the United States and Japan in 2016 in this season, because I don't think, if you have seen it, I don't think you've seen it since the beginning of the year. And though the beginning of the year was not that long ago, Though the beginning of the year was less than 4 months ago, in real time, the beginning of the year in this season was back in April of last year. So, with that being the case, it's been a while. So, but either way, Jay Briscoe is actually the never open weight champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that's a thing. Just peeking around here as we move to the pay-per-view. Hopefully it doesn't take a little bit extra time like it usually did. Like it did. Excuse me. See, the problem with 2016 is it's one of the largest databases in the game, so it takes a little bit of extra time for the database to load. You know what I'm going to do? The next time you'll see me is when we're at the pay-per-view. And we have arrived. It is time for Oh. Well, I'm gonna remove this one because this one gives us more coverage. No. And I'm guessing, yeah. Well then, RF video it is. Well then, RF video it is. I think I'm gonna have to end that relationship and just get a new provider for pay-per-views in the United States. I don't know why Matt is irritated. And I will say this, that the broken Matt Hardy gimmick, because I just know you just saw it, that gimmick will take the next step tonight. Casket. Oh. You see what my original plans were. So let's take care of this match first. Mike Bennett versus the Prodigy. And the Prodigy gets the victory over Mike Bennett to continue his undefeated streak in TNA. Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and the winner and new TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Rey Mysterio Jr. That's right, I'm putting the belt on Mysterio. Partially because it seems like Kurt's run with the belt isn't really working out, so I figured why not put the belt on Mysterio instead. And the last preset match before I start booking the other matches is Beer Money Incorporated versus the Wolves for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. And the winners and new TNA Tag Team Champions, Bobby Roode and James Storm. And I'm just looking, for the first time since 2011, Bobby Roode and James Storm will be TNA World Tag Team Champions. Now we move forward with the next match. Last knockout standing, Taryn Terrell versus Gail Kim for the TNA Knockouts Championship. And Gail Kim gets the victory over Taryn Terrell to retain the TNA Knockouts Championship. And effectively put an end to the feud between these two women. What else can we see tonight? Eric Young against Mr. Anderson for the TNA Heritage Championship. And, of course, Mr. Anderson retains the TNA Heritage Championship. And yes, I will say this, that Anderson will eventually lose the Heritage title, but not yet. And yes, I know, looking at it, he's almost held the title for a year, and indirectly he could eventually hold the title for a year. And they've held the title since July of last year. But either way, Anderson retains the TNA Heritage Championship tonight against Eric Young. Speaking of championship matches also, Kyle O'Reilly, Tigre Uno, for the TNA X Division Championship title. And the match ends in a draw. Let's have it go 1 extra minute so it ends with 15 minutes. Really, Tigre? Why are you so pissed? Oh, you're 20 in popularity better than him. Oh. Alright. Huh. You know what? I'm gonna go with it, and I'm just gonna protect him for the finish. I'm just gonna go with it anyway. Where do we go from here? Let's see. Well, I want to do this match. Jeff Hardy versus Abyss. With Abyss getting the victory in a tainted finish, and I'll explain when we go through the card again why I'm choosing tainted finish for that match. Well then, maybe EC3. I think EC3 may be the only person that could actually beat Jeff Hardy. Next to Kurt Angle, of course. Yes. Alright. Let's add in some angles. I know I'm not really explaining anything. That's just because I'm saving most of my explanations for when we go through the pay-per-view. Like, I don't think this requires any explanation. Jade, Marty Bell, JB. They took up their match. JB, Gail Kim, Taryn Terrell. No, these guys don't have to be a part of it. They took up their match. And now we add in Mike Bennett, Overness, The Prodigy. Basically, these are the same things as hype videos. But the reason why I'm doing the hype video this way is because at least it affects the feud, which it would not affect the feud if I did it the other way. Well, it would affect the feud, but at least it affects the people. You know? By that I mean, at least it can be used to further, like, the guy's status in the feud. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you in a second. And just to mix things up, I'm gonna include this one for Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio. Status in the feud, right here. Oh, success, sorry. Success. Maybe I shouldn't have started the feud. Who knows? I mean, just look at it. This feud started around the same time as this one, and this one has so much more in the feud, you know? Heck, this one started this month, and it has more. So, I don't, you know... I mean, just look at this one. What else do we include? How about a 6-man tag? Yeah, how about a 6-man tag? Because I guarantee there are people that I should be including in the pay-per-view. See, what I was thinking about was the mid-carders that, you know, have won a good amount of matches, or the upper mid-carders in Homicide's case, because, you know, Homicide, he's freaking won how many matches? I know, I gotta change him out for somebody. How about that? Harry Smith and Lance Hoyt. And... well, fine, Drew Galloway. And... you know what, screw it, let's do an 8-man tag. Let's do an 8-man tag, because I'm trying to best balance the teams, and it's a little difficult because I don't have many upper mid-card baby faces. And I also just don't like how it looks with a tag team going up against singles guys. So, by the way, how I'm doing, you know, this, where only one is by right-clicking. So if you didn't know, now you know. The Motor City Machine Guns. And Lance Hoyt and Harry Smith. And now the heels just need one more heel. Specifically a mid-carder. How about Jesse Goddard? and the game can choose. 2 reasons why I did this match. Reason number 1, I wanted to be able to put up a music video for Tigre and Kyle's feud, which I could, but I don't like having angles like that open the show. I don't mind having angles open the show, it's just the idea that I mind having angles like that open the show. See, I was also going to do this. I was going to have EC3 get attacked by a mystery attacker backstage, but I kind of felt like doing that. Everybody would know who the mystery attacker was, so it would kind of defeat the purpose of doing it. Shaul Guerrero. I just really want to include Velvet Sky on the pay-per-view. Or I just want to include another women's match on the pay-per-view, so I'm gonna do that. How about another tag team match with Crime Time going up against Jazz and Benjamin? You know what? How about Crime Time going up against the Von Erich boys? And let's get to it. Let's get to finding out what happens at TNA One Night Only Legacy. Velvet Sky gets the victory over Jameson on the first pre-show match, and the Von Erichs beat Crime. No, I'm only kidding. Crime Time beats the Von Erichs in the second pre-show match of the night, and the only other pre-show match. As now we move to the pay-per-view, where we kick off the pay-per-view with an 8-man tag team match. Lashley, Drew Galloway, and the Motor City Machine Guns up against Lance Hoyt, Harry Smith, Jesse Goddards, and Homicide. And Homicide's team gets the victory. My goodness, I think it's fitting for me to say, my God, Homicide is on a hot streak this year. Homicide is now 12-2 this year. Holy shit. Holy shit, Homicide is doing good this year. I didn't even realize Homicide was doing that good. But I'm gonna also tell you this, that at least half of this match, at least half the talent in this match will be in action against each other. In particular, Lance Hoyt and Harry Smith will go against the Machine Guns this Thursday night on Impact. Why? Because I feel like it. And the other match, well, it's either going to be Drew Galloway against Bobby Lashley, or, well, you know me, it's going to be heels versus faces. So either it's going to be Galloway against Goddards, Galloway against Homicide, or Lashley against Homicide. I can tell you this, it will not be Lashley against Jesse Goddards. I don't want to make it that obvious. So now we hit our first video package of the night with Kyle O'Reilly and Tigre Uno's feud being highlighted as we move to the first of 5 X Division, Heritage, Knockouts, World, and 5 title matches tonight. The first being the X Division title match as Kyle O'Reilly draws with Tigre Uno. I just want to say this. I'm not one for pissing off talent. I got Kyle O'Reilly with the intention of making him beat Tigre Uno for the X Division title. The best way... Now, I know. Tigre's been a good X Division champion. He's been a really good X Division champion. But the reason for the draw here is not to protect Kyle O'Reilly. The reason for the draw is because I wanted Kyle to win. But because he couldn't, now I have to figure out how I can make him become X Division champion without making Tigre look weak. because I do want to get the belt off Tigre because he's also getting too popular for the division. Because he keeps winning. Let's put it that way. And now we move forward with the first major match of the night as EC3 goes up against Jeff Hardy. And yes, I know, Bram and EC3. Well, I'm unsure with how I want to go with that feud. Well, you'll find out later that I know how I want to go with that feud. The reason for this match, though, and the reason why Jeff loses, is because near the end of the match, the lights go down, and a video starts playing on the Titantron. And the video is of the end of the 6-man tag team match from last month, involving EC3, Bram, Rob Echoes against Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, and James Storm, which saw Matt Hardy take the fall, and that was the last time we saw Matt Hardy on Impact on any TNA programming. And just after the footage and after the 3 count, the lights come back up, the video ends, and Jeff's just looking around like, what the hell was that? And he gets schoolboyed and he gets hit with Mantastic from Ethan Carter, and EC3 gets the victory via distraction. Complicated, I know, but it's leading to something. Now we head backstage with JB, who's standing by with Taryn Terrell, and he asks Taryn how it feels to be making history once again tonight for the Knockouts division. And Taryn just says, JB, me and Gail have made history before, so this is nothing new. But this is just showing why TNA will always stay a step ahead of that other company, no matter how much they want to say it's a women's revolution. We were doing a women's revolution before the term even existed, because we didn't need to evolve. And now we move forward. After an impassioned promo from Taryn Terrell about her last knockout standing match later tonight against Gail Kim, we move to the tag team title match, and the second of 5 title matches tonight, as Beer Money Incorporated go up against the Wolves for the tag titles, and Beer Money gets the victory over the Wolves to become the new TNA World Tag Team Champions. And following the match, the Wolves attack Beer Money. And yes, effectively turning heel. So, Davey and Eddie, well, basically, this feud, but with Beer Money, was designed to turn Davey and Eddie heel, because James and Bobby were going to be my top babyface tag team. Now we move to the video package of the feud between Mike Bennett and the Prodigy, as the Prodigy and Mike Bennett lock horns, and once again, Mike Bennett just becomes another statistic, with Bennett falling victim to the sky-high leg drop, and the man who affectionately calls himself the man born to be in the ring. Born to be in the ring. As the Prodigy's undefeated streak continues, and he sends Bennett packing. Also, I almost forgot to mention that this means the Prodigy is the #1 contender for the TNA Heritage Championship. And now we move backstage once again as JB meets with Gail Kim, as Gail Kim is asked about making history once again for the Knockouts division. and she goes a little bit different than JB. Than Taryn did. She says, JB, I was in TNA. I've been in TNA. I was here in TNA before they had a Knockouts division. They call AJ Styles and Jerry Lynn and Low Key and Chris Daniels the founding fathers of the X Division. Well, people like me and people like Angelina Love and people like Awesome Kong are the founders of the women's division in TNA. And I have been making history with Taryn before, and this is no different. But tonight, it ends. And it ends with one knockout left standing. And now we move to one of the last video packages of the night, as we are on the cusp of the third of 5 title matches in the night, as Eric Young steps up to face the reigning TNA Heritage Champion, Mr. Anderson. And Anderson gets the win over EY to retain the TNA Heritage title and keep going what has been an extremely good run with the belt. As I can tell you just by looking at the rating, he boosted up the prestige of the belt just a little bit more to where I think it may be in the 70s now. And at the rate I'm going, Anderson may put the TNA Heritage title on a higher platform than the world title. And now we move to another video package, as the 4th TNA title match tonight is about to get underway, as we highlight the long-standing rivalry between Gail Kim and Taryn Terrell as we move to Last Knockout Standing. By the way, I know this is not the first time for a Last Knockout Standing match, as Taryn and Gail, the last time they feuded, had a Last Knockout Standing match, if my memory serves me correctly. It's just because, can you really imagine 2 knockouts, or 2 women in WWE's case, having a last man standing match? It's just to eliminate this. It's to eliminate the match specific. You know, like to further change people's perception of what a match is supposed to be, or what a gimmick match is supposed to be. As Gail retains the TNA Knockouts title against Taryn, and is the last knockout standing, effectively ending her feud with Taryn Terrell, at least for now. And now we head back to the broadcast table, as Josh Matthews and Pope are preparing us for the TNA World Heavyweight title match between Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio. But then all of a sudden we hear Josh say, we're being told something's going on backstage. And it looks like somebody may be down. So let's get a camera back there and find out. And then we jump backstage to see the end of Bram beating down Ethan Carter III backstage. And you hear Bram saying, "You were always the weak link. You were always the weak link. You're not better than me. You're not better than me." And this is when security and backstage crew starts running in, pushing Bram away to check on Ethan Carter and to make sure he's okay. And also you see Mick Foley in the picture there too, as the authority figure, trying to make sure that Ethan Carter is okay after the attack. And it looks like EC3 is okay, but a little shaken up following the beatdown by Bram. And now after we gather our thoughts, we head back to the ring for the video package to promote the world title match between Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio. And it all started back last month when Rey Mysterio Jr. shocked the wrestling world and made his TNA wrestling debut at TNA Sacrifice back in March, following the TNA World title match between Kurt Angle and the Monster Abyss. And now we head to the main event. Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio, TNA World's Heavyweight title on the line, and Kurt Angle falls victim to drop the dime, and Rey Mysterio becomes the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. That's right, in his in-ring pay-per-view debut, Rey Mysterio becomes the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And the pay-per-view effectively ends with us getting a 74 final rating and increasing our popularity in 27 regions. My goodness, what a good show. And I know what some of you are saying, really? You let Rey win the world title? Believe me, plans are in place. And plans are in place and things will be better. Or I have a direction and I have ideas for TNA to where I can set them up and where I hopefully can stabilize them for the long term and make their future look bright. And yes, it does in part have to do with Rey Mysterio winning the world title, but for me to give you an explanation on that, you'll have to tune in for the next episode of the longest running series on this YouTube channel, TNA 2016. Because for right now, this video is coming to a close. But if you wanna leave feedback, I wanna hear from you. So feel free to leave a comment. But if you don't want to leave a comment, you can always leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this that you can only find right here at Wrestling Express. Till next time. Later.